What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 1, Episode 7. The episode is titled Stay in Your Lane. That is advice that Kanan should take. You know what? The show should actually be blaming Kanan. Because, bitch, Kanan is to blame for everything bad that is going on in this world. So, without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and talk about Raising Kanan. Now, before we get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other review on my channel and are not already subscribed to the channel, then what I need you guys to do is just hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button, select all, like the video, and leave your comments. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss Raising Kanan, shall we? Alright, you guys, so the episode, it opens us. So we see Rock, and she's leaving the hospital, right? So we find out about Scrap, right? So Scrap is alive. Like I said on last week's review, Scrap is alive. He was breathing. Only thing is, Scrap ain't got, and I noticed it when they showed the preview for last week's episode. I noticed, I'm like, wait a minute, he ain't got no motherfucking eye. So Scrap doesn't have an eye, and he doesn't have a kidney at this point, right? So we see her on the phone with Lou, right? So Lou tells her if they do this, that they're going to war, right? And she says, we've been at war. We're just opening up a new front. So then we see Lou. So Lou is in his car, and he's watching one of Unique's guys walk by with his girl, right? So in his passenger seat, he has a ski mask. So he takes the ski mask, puts the ski mask on, and then there's a gun right there, right? So then we see him, and we see that, you know, the guy that he was watching, we see him in his place, you know, going downtown on his girl, right? So Lou was able to sneak into his apartment, and while he's doing his thing on his, like, I don't know why Lou didn't take this opportunity, right? This man is down in between his girl's legs, eating her out. You didn't take the opportunity to just blast him right then and there, right? But the girl, while she's getting ate out, she looks up, sees Lou, starts screaming. That's when Lou started blasting. Lou almost actually got hit when the guy got his gun and started shooting back, right? I'm like, Lou, that was sloppy at best, right? Terrible. Very, very sloppy. So then, you know, the door closed, but Lou kicked the door back in, and you know, he started shooting again. He just started shooting through the door. Then he kicked the door in. And lo and behold, old dude got out the window and run down the street in nothing but his robe. So then we see Lou. So he's telling Rock and Marvin about what happened, about how he missed. Even Marvin was like, how in the fuck did you miss? Like, you out here trying to be a bootleg Russell Simmons. I'm like, I ain't gonna go that far with a bootleg Russell Simmons, but I will say, how in the fuck did you miss? Like, you had ample opportunity. The man wasn't looking at you. I'm sorry. Shoot him, and unfortunately, you got to take a little mama out because she's a witness. Well, actually, she wouldn't have been a witness, right? Because Lou had a mask on. Lou fucked up. Lou fucked up, right? So then Rock mentions to them that they're behind schedule, right? So Marvin says that, you know, they get in there, but they don't have enough product. So Lou talks about the gas station. Now, you guys know this whole gas station thing, that is Marvin. But Marvin pretends as if he doesn't know what's going on. Once Rock finds out about the gas station and what Marvin is doing, Marvin. We're going to talk about Marvin a little bit later, but Marvin is as good as dead, I feel like Marvin is as good as dead. So then Rock tells Lou that she's coming with him, that he's coming with her to meet the potential new connect. You guys remember in last week's episode, she was talking to Juliana about, you know, her cousin. So he's coming with her. So then we see Lou. So Lou is at a diner, and then Unique and the boy that he tried to, you know, he was supposed to take out, show up there. So Unique pays for his food. Then Unique wants to sit down and talk to him, right? So Unique tells him that Rock is going to fail, and he says, you know, he's giving her about another couple of months before, you know, he mopping her up and whoever else is working with her. So at this point, Unique is offering for, you know, Marvin to come work for him because he respects Marvin and, you know, what he does. So Luke tells him, I don't get down with bitch ass niggas or pussy eaters. And old boy was like, wait a minute, that was you? He went for his gun. Unique was like, damn boy. I'm like, yeah, damn. Not in this establishment, right? Alright, so that's it for right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here, catch my breath, and we're going to move forward. Alright, guys, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Juke real quick, right? So we see Juke and Nicole, right? So they're out and they're talking about what Juke should wear to Nicole's, I don't know if it's like a debutante ball or whatever, right? So Juke says, I'm gonna look good for my girlfriend. She's like, your girlfriend? This is the first time you call me your girlfriend. So then we see Juke as she goes to this store, right? And I guess it's like a high-end store because she was trying on dresses, but none of them. I was like, Juke, I don't know too much about, women, and I don't think you a stud, but I don't think you are the girly girl type either, right? So, like I said, none of the dresses was a good fit for her. So the woman that was, when she was trying on the dresses, the woman asked her, "Are you okay in there?" I hate when people do that to me, right? When I go to a store and try shit on, is everything okay? Does it fit right? Bitch, if it didn't, I wouldn't tell you. Like, I would just bring it out and say, here, it didn't fit right. You don't have to hassle me. You don't have to bother me. You don't have to badger me. I'm not going to steal this shit. Like, I'm not. But Juke came out. Then the woman, the associate asked her if she left the clothes in the dressing room. Also, you think I'm going to steal this shit? Like I just said a minute ago, I'm not stealing this shit. That actually happened to me at H&M, right? The girl was like, did you leave everything in a... Well, they tell you... I don't know how it is in other places, but here they'll say, hey, if you go in the dressing room, if it's not a good fit for you, just leave it in there. But this time she didn't tell me that. She just asked me, did you leave it? Did everything fit all right? I said, yeah. And she's like, did you leave anything in the dressing room? No, I have everything right here with me. The fuck? I was like, okay. I'm gonna tell you guys a story about about me being racially profiled in a women's clothing store one day. So then we see Juke, right? So she's at the house. Where's she at? Where we at? Juke, she's at the house. Oh, so Juke, we saw Juke. So she was at Kanan and Rock's house, right? And she was telling Kanan that she needs somewhere to get dressed because she doesn't want, Marvin to see her. So Kanan gives her the key, and then Howard pulls up on him, and he gives her a little vial of some crack that he's made. We'll discuss that in just a little bit as well. So Howard asks, how is he? And, he says that, Howard is going... The way that Howard is rocking, it ain't good, right? You pulling up on this teenage boy. We know why you pulling up on him, right? Because you think he's your son. But if anybody else would have seen this, they would even think that you are harassing this boy or trying to push up on him in a different way, right? But, Kanan says that Rock don't know him, don't want him talking to him. And Howard says that, they have shared history. And, he was checking on him. And he also asked if, he asked Rock about him. So then his partner, Burke, she asked him when he got back in the car, she's like, what is it with you and that boy? He says, oh, children are the future. Okay, I guess. So then we see Juke and Nicole, right? So Juke and Nicole, they're out walking. And, she wants to know what kind of dress she's going to wear. What her dress looks like. What color her dress is. Basically so she can coordinate with her, right? So then we see Juke and Nicole. They plan to spend more time alone with each other during the ball. So Juke tells Nicole that she's done boosting. And then Juke gave Nicole a cassette tape that she can listen to just for her own ears. And she, asked if she wants a pretzel. I think Juke said she don't like pretzel, but she'll go get Nicole a pretzel. So she went to go get the pretzel for her. So Nicole has this little card that's for Laverne that she puts in her backpack. But then she also finds that vial of the crack and took it. I'm like, oh shit, this ain't gonna be good. This is not gonna be good. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about. I'm not going to give everything away about Nicole and Juke in this part of the episode review, because we're going to double back to it in a little bit. So, we see Nicole as she has her dress on, right? So, her mom comes in the room, and basically, her mama is telling her that the little date that she has is okay if you have sex with him. Just don't get pregnant. And Nicole's like, lesbians can't get pregnant. Her mama's like, you're not a lesbian. She's like, yes, I am. She's like, so you're saying that you know me better than me? She's like, well, sometimes parents do know their kids better than the kids know themselves. Girl, how you gonna sit there and tell her you know her better than her? She knows what she likes. She likes vagina, not penis. So then we see Juke, and she's getting ready at Rock's place, right? For the dance, and she has her tux on. She's looking good on her tux. And Rock comes in, and she says, you know, she just needed a place to get dressed. And she was like, whoever you dress up for, they're going to be really happy, right? She says, it's for Nicole. She says, well, Nicole's going to be really happy. And Rock in that scene just says, you know what? With you, I just want you to be happy, right? That's all I want, is for you to be happy. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Now, next up is Nicole. But like I said, we're not going to talk about Nicole just yet, because I'm going to build up to that. So let's move on. All right, you guys. So I think I'm actually going to wrap up. But what I'm going to do in this scene right here is I'm going to mix in Rock, Kanan, and Marvin, so that everything makes sense. So we saw Rock. So Rock went to the bodega, right? So you guys remember, I'm telling you that Rock was going to, you know, she's going to be meeting up with Juliana's cousin, right? So she pulls up at the bodega, and Juliana gives her the place of where her cousin wants to meet her at, right? So, you know, basically Juliana is, you know, I think Juliana is getting her courage up and getting to the point where she's getting fed up with, you know, her husband, and she's ready to do whatever she got to do to get away from that motherfucker and have him stop abusing her. So Rock tells her that, you know, with you helping me, if you need my help at all, let me know. Basically, y'all finna set up to kill that man. So then we see Rock. So she's meeting with Joaquin, who is Juliana's cousin, right? You know, she wants him to be her supplier. So one of his guys is at the showcase. He was singing a song, "Streets Need a Body." So, you know, Joaquin is like, you know, he'll be reaching out to her. He'll be reaching out to her. Now, on the other side, let's talk about Marvin. So you guys remember, I told you Marvin, he is operating from the gas station that Kanan showed him, right? So he's doing that. But remember, I told you, he told Rock he don't know nothing about that. Lying like a motherfucker. So we see Rock. So she and Kanan, they're getting ready to go on a date. But you know, Kanan feels some type of, you know, he don't feel like they should be doing this because of what happened with Scrap losing his eye and his kidney. So now Kanan feels fucked up. I'm like, yeah, Kanan, this is your fucking fault, right? So they're on a double date. So it's Kanan and Davina, and it's Rock and Symphony. Now, she didn't know that it was Symphony. Actually, she didn't know it was a double date. But when Symphony shows up, she looked like this motherfucker. So she gets up and walks out, right? So Symphony falls in behind Rock, and he apologized to her. He says, you know, you told me not to get between you and your son, but that's just what I did. But, you know, she played hard, but then she eventually, you know, she let in. So they had their dinner. So then after dinner, you know how Symphony is. Symphony gives you a history lesson. So then after that, they split up, right? So Kanan and Davina are going to go their direction, and Rock and Symphony are going to go their direction. So Rock and Symphony, you know, they're talking, and did she apologize to him? Maybe getting ahead of myself. But Rock and Symphony, they about to get it in, right? So he wants to take things slow with her, and then he went downtown. I'm like, oh, okay. But Rock, so she does apologize to Symphony for being hard on him. She says, you know, she's grateful that Kanan, you know, has a man in his life that he can depend on and can call on him. So she is appreciative of that. And I'm like, that's what it wasn't. I'm like, why come you didn't think that in the first place, right? Now I got it. I get it. It did look like a betrayal, but it wasn't really a betrayal. But I got it nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, I did get it. So Kanan and Davina, right? They're back at Davina's place, and they kissing, and she told him that, you know, I heard Fame's song, which listening to those lyrics, she said, in those lyrics, because I was listening to those lyrics last week too. I was like, wait a minute. Because I'm like, it sounds like he's talking about Buck 20 in their rap. And I think we know he's talking about Buck 20. But Kanan's like, nah, people like him, they just, talking about this shit like they actually live it. She says, but you do live it. So then we see Kanan. He goes over to Fame. He says, Davina heard that damn song. And I told you that shit was going to be a problem. Like, stop, don't say that shit. Like, stop rapping about me. Now, he comes up with a freestyle off the dome, right? I have an issue with the fact that Fame he just regurgitates it. I mean, it just comes out of his mouth. Nigga. I'm like, damn, the fact that you just say nigga freely and ain't nobody popped you in your motherfucking mouth yet. So then we see Kanan. So Kanan goes looking for Marvin, but his boys are at the crib, right? And they say, they have some product on the table, and they say that they don't know where Marvin is, but they've been moving the product. They've been moving the product, right? So Kanan sees the bag and he says they need to stretch that shit. They like, nigga, we done stretched it, stomped it, done all we can to it. It ain't much else we can do. But they say they got some new shit, and he says, well, let's cook that. They're like, nah, nigga, we not cooking this shit without the okay from Marvin. So Kanan at this point think he the nigga. He's like, cook that shit. We gonna cook that shit. Like, I'm the reason that y'all own that block, on that corner anyway, on that highway anyways. So this is why I say this show should be called Blaming Kanan. And this is where Ju got the vial from that Nicole got from her. And like I said, we're gonna discuss it, right? We're gonna discuss it. So Kanan and the other two, they made it. Now they're ready to distribute it, but they want to put out a test sample first, right? So they give it to I guess like the local crackheads, right? So we see two crackheads and they smoking it. Now the one crackhead, he's smoking it, but then he starts spazzing out. I'm like, and then the other dude like, you hogging it. I'm like, bruh, I don't know if he's hogging it. Like, look at him. And then he takes it, he smokes it, he dead. I'm like, well, damn. So then Marvin picks up Kanan and they go and see those two crackheads and some other ones. I think the other ones might have been alive, but those two over there, them niggas is dead. So Kanan is like, Marvin is upset. So then his boys start snitching. I'm like, damn, y'all just snitching. So Kanan wants to get it off the street, and Marvin's like, hell nah. Like, we need to shut this shit down and start and run them blue caps. So then, this is where the sad part came in, right? Nicole, you guys remember I told you that Nicole took it? So Nicole was in her room, and she was listening to the tape that Jukebox made for her. So then Nicole goes and get, a little bong to smoke out of. I'm like, no. I'm like, please don't do that, Nicole. Nicole did it. She got a high for a few minutes, but then Nicole fell like a sack of potatoes. Boom. And she's dead. And I'm like, oh no. And then Juke was out of the bar waiting for Nicole. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be good. Could this be the beginning of the end for? It's probably not, right? It could be. It could be. Because she was into that girl, and what's gonna happen when she finds out that the girl, she smoked the crack, and that's the crack that, and she put two and two together. That's the crack that I got from Kanan, and Kanan, you the reason that my girl is dead. Ooh. So Kanan, he's downstairs, and Rock comes and says, you miss Juke, and then she said that Symphony wants to do another double date. So then she asks him, like, she says, I thank you for wanting to pay for the dinner, but where did you get that money from? He lies to her. I'm like, but then he mentions Howard, and she tells him next time he see him, go the other way, because he's just basically fucking with him. Rock, oh, y'all both lying to each other at this point. Whew, it's interesting, right? It's interesting. But it was a good episode. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else, and share the video. Into the next one, you guys. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and that's it, you guys. Also, you guys have a great Labor Day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.